But Sir Richard was not listening. He unlocked the door and walked straight in. "See, nothing unusual in here, James," he said, and he opened the window. As he did so, he noticed how tall and dark the ash tree was. Its branches seemed to be trying to reach into the room, but he said nothing. At that moment, a stranger rang the bell at the front door of the hall. The servant brought him up to the bedroom, where Sir Richard was standing, looking around him at the old paintings and old books. "I must apologize for interrupting you, Sir Richard," said the stranger, "but please allow me to introduce myself. My name is William Crome. My grandfather was the vicar here in your grandfather's time. I have some papers to deliver to you." "Delighted to meet you," said Sir Richard. "James, please bring us some wine in the library and then move my clothes and things into this room for me. I will sleep here in future." While he was drinking a glass of wine with William Crome in the library, Sir Richard looked at the papers, many of which belonged to his grandfather. Among them, he found the notes made by the old vicar about the day of Sir Matthew's mysterious death. "Well, well," said Sir Richard, laughing quietly. "How very interesting. It seems that my grandfather's Bible gave a piece of advice on the day he died, and your grandfather thought it could be about that old ash tree outside the bedroom window cut it down, the good book told him. Those were the first words your grandfather saw when he opened the Bible on the day of my grandfather's death. Do you still have that old Bible?" asked William Crome. "I'd very much like to see it." Sir Richard found the old Bible easily. "Yes, here it is. A bit dusty, I'm afraid. Let's see what it has to tell me. I'll open it at any page and read the first words I see, just as your grandfather did." He opened the book and his eyes fell on the words, "You shall look for me in the morning, and I shall not be here." Sir Richard was sure that the words were again about the ash tree. The Bible was trying to give him some advice. He ordered some of his servants to cut it down the next day. But Sir Richard did not live to see them cut the ash tree down. That night, at exactly midnight, a strange and terrible animal jumped from Sir Richard's bed, ran silently to the window, and disappeared into the shadowy branches of the enormous tree. No one was there to see it, but the next morning they found Sir Richard's body, like his grandfather's, dead and completely black. When William Crome heard the news of his new friend's death, the words from the Bible came back to him, "You shall look for me in the morning, and I shall not be here." He immediately hurried to Castringham Hall, where he found the family and servants crowded round the ash tree. "Sir Richard's last orders were that we should cut down this tree," explained James, and then, in a quieter voice, he went on, "And there's something very strange about that tree, sir. Very strange. It's hollow, and they say something lives inside it." The gardener put his ladder against the tree and climbed up to look inside. As he held a light over the hole, his face suddenly looked so terrified that several of the people watching from below screamed and turned to run. The gardener himself fell off the ladder, dropping his lamp down into the hollow tree, which quickly caught fire. As the tree started to burn, the crowd saw an animal run from the tree. They screamed in horror as they saw its shape and size. It looked like an enormous spider, about the same size as a man's head and covered all over with gray hair. "Look, there's another, and another," someone shouted. For a long time the men watched these terrifying animals trying to escape from the fire one after another, and then they killed them with sticks. At last, the fire burned itself out, and William Crome, James, the servant, and some of the braver people went to look inside the blackened tree. There they found the bones of a human being. The doctors who examined it afterwards said that it was the body of a woman who died around 1690, the year that old Mrs. Mothersole was hanged.